Hey, what's up, guys? I am Aaron Christy, founder of Indy Roof Company, and I am here with one of the OGs, Paul Sopke, also known as Tall Paul. What's up, Paul?
What's up? It's good to be here. This is an amazing studio, by the way. Love it. It's great.
Thanks, man. We've put a lot of work into it, and we're excited to get some content in here.
Totally.
So we're here today because we have a lot of frequently asked questions, and we wanted to get Paul in here to get his take on some of these questions. So the first question that we have is, what does hail damage look like? So you got to think of this. This is your average homeowner that doesn't work in our field. What do they look for? What does hail damage look like to them? How do they know if, yes, I need to call somebody to look at this, or I have hail damage, I need to take care of this?
That's a great question. It's it's profound in the ways of finding damage that you don't even realize is there until it's kind of pointed out to you.
Yep.
The best thing about the position that I have here at Indy Roof Company is I started off almost on the customer level to where I didn't know anything, and then I've learned to where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. So speaking on a customer's level, there's ways to be able to see or to acknowledge hail damage, and it all starts really from the ground. There's different things that you can look at. You can look at mainly your soft metals, the things on your home like downspouts, your gutters, even your mailbox, your grill. Take a look at all of those items. Yeah. Walk around your home, and if you look on those items and you see hits on those, and what I mean by hits is a piece of hail that comes down from the sky, if you think about it, is like almost like a marble size falling from the air. And so if you set like a Coke can out and you drop a marble from 10 feet up onto that Coke can, what's it going to do? It's going to bend it. It's going to ding it, right? Yeah. That's basically the kind of metal damage that you're looking for. We call that collateral damage.
Collateral. So to your point, when you say it's from the ground, like you can see this without ever even getting on your roof. Typically, there's a story that goes along with it.
Absolutely. So a lot of times we aren't looking for damage because it's not being brought to our attention. But if we're focusing on what hail damage is, if I go out to a customer's home, that's the first thing that I do. In fact, I'll even have the customer come out and walk around with me, and I'll just simply start pointing things out to them. I'll show them on a downspout. You'll see divots and hits. I call them anti-belly buttons. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but that's the way that Tall Paul thinks. Because you either have an anti-belly button or you have an outie, okay? Yeah. So when you look at these pieces of metal, you're going to see hits that almost look like an anti-belly button. So I point up, I say, you see that anti-belly button right there? No, that's funny, but it's true. And they go, wow, yeah, I never noticed that. I'm like, that's hail hits. Yeah. That means that's the sign that there's probably going to be damage up on your roof too.
I've actually never heard you say that, and that's funny because storms are directional, right?
Right.
So if there's a storm coming from the northwest heading southeast, the hail's going to come down and hit the northwest side of the house and have innies. But if you're on the southeast side, it's going to get inside the gutter and push out, and then it'll be an outie.
And that's exactly what I say. And let me tell you, that's a connection made.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about innie and outie belly buttons.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's awesome. I'm never going to look at a hail hit the same way now. I can't believe I've never heard you say that.
And anybody that's seeing this, go out and look at your soft metals, and you're going to go, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. So to be clear, there's not going to be hits on every corner of the house. It's going to be on whichever the direction the storm was coming from. It's going to have impacts on that side. So you may only find one gutter with hits on it, and if that's the direction the storm was coming from. Mm-hmm. So the point of what you were saying was it's possible to see if you've even been hit with hail that was damaging without ever getting on your roof. But let's say you see that, and then you go, hey, I'm going to call somebody, or hey, I'm a pretty athletic person. I feel comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and hop up on my roof and check it out myself. If they got up on the roof, what are they looking for then?
Sure. And there's actually soft metals up on a roof as well. So when I climb up onto a roof, if I see that there's the damage on the downspouts and the gutters, when I get up on the roof, the first thing that I'm looking at are box vents, which are turtle vents. They're yay by yay, and they'll have hits on those as well.
Okay.
So basically, the reason why you want to look at your soft metals first for hail damage is because soft metals are going to be damaged before the shingles, because the shingles are way more tough. They're more durable than the soft metals.
Okay.
So if you don't have any damage on your soft metals, more than likely you're not going to have any on the shingles either.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So when you climb up on a roof, you're going to look at the slopes, which are the angles of the roof. Mm-hmm. And if you have a storm that's coming from, let's say, dead south, coming south, the slopes that are facing the south direction, those are the ones that are going to more than likely have that damage. The slopes that are facing away from it, probably not so much.
Because it's angling down So if it hits a slope that is facing this direction, it's a direct impact.
Right.
To whereas if it's like this, it's going to glance off and it's not going to get the same
Basically
punch.
like skipping a stone across water. It just goes right across it.
And that's not to say it doesn't happen, but more often than not, if you're going to have it, it's going to be on the facing the storm slope.
Locating hail damage is it's a little bit of a, you have to go looking for it. Now, some storms bring damage to where it's very obvious when you get up there right away.
Right.
But sometimes hail damage can be, all right, take an apple, for example. You have an apple that sits on the counter for a week or two, you're going to start getting bruising. And the bruising takes place if you put your thumb in it. You can feel it kind of squishing in, kind of pushing in a little bit.
Yeah.
Shingles are kind of the same way. So you have to kind of diagnose a situation to where if you're finding hail damage on the soft metals, then you're looking on the shingles, and a good way to find that is you look around and you can see the matting is a little impressed a little bit.
Right.
And you can barely press your thumb in on it, and that'd be a hail hit.
Okay.
It takes a little bit more of an eye to find that.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll have Durango superimpose some hail hit photo shots right over this, so people can see what we're talking about. But yeah, I do think it's important to point out that the bruising, like you're saying, is very soft to the touch, and typically, like you said, it impacts when that hail comes down and strikes. It's pushing the granules or the rocks that are on top of the shingle down into the shingle. So while some of them will fall away, you'll also see some impacted down into that matting. So you'll see a hit, and they could be all different sizes. Typically, we're in Indiana. I think the typical sizes here are, 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches is what your average hail is. And you'll see sizes in hail strikes that will be all over, by the way. There's not a particular pattern, right?
No, it could be dispersed in all kinds of crazy ways.
Yeah. And it may only be on one side of your house, maybe on all sides of the house. So just to recap, we want to look for ground collateral, as you call it, innies and outies. Which
right. It sounds crazy, but that's the way that it is.
I bet they remember it if they watch this video. They'll remember it. They'll be looking for it.
Will.
So you can look for hits or innies on downspouts, windowsills, garage doors, mailboxes, screens. There's a lot of different AC units. There's a lot of different things that you can look for. And then if you move up to the roof, you will see those impacts and soft bruising and strikes to the shingle as well. And we'll have photos of those strikes to show.
Yeah, that's your basic hail damage.